If you've seen the new Michael biopic, you already know it ends on one of the biggest and only cliffhangers in biopic history. The movie wraps up right after his legendary 1988 Wembley Stadium performance of Bad. It cuts to black and flashes the words, "His story continues." With the movie absolutely crushing it at the box office and a sequel already being heavily considered or even greenlit by the time this video goes live, Lionsgate is clearly setting up part 2. But if they actually try to make a sequel covering the 1990s to 2000s, they are going to run into a massive legal wall. Today we're going to break down the 3 different ways a sequel could actually handle the most controversial years of Michael Jackson's life. A lot of people assume the filmmakers just want to end on a high note in 1988 to protect his legacy. But it turns out director Antoine Fuqua originally wanted to tackle the darkest moments of Jackson's life. In an interview with The New Yorker, Fuqua admitted that he originally shot the infamous 1993 police raid on the Neverland Ranch. Fuqua stated, "I shot him being stripped, naked, treated like an animal, a monster." But those scenes had to be completely scrapped. Why? Because reports suggest a strict clause in a 1994 settlement legally prevents the Jackson estate from ever depicting the Jordan Chandler family in a film. So, with the filmmakers legally blocked from showing the family on screen, how do they write a sequel? I think it comes down to 3 realistic options. Starting with option 1, they completely ignore the accusations. In this scenario, the studio takes the safest route possible. They don't touch the lawsuit at all. Instead, the movie focuses entirely on the physical and emotional toll of his late years. It would focus on the isolation of building Neverland, his struggles with pain medication, and the immense tragic pressure of preparing for the This Is It tour. Hollywood likes safe investments. This route completely avoids the courtroom drama, gives audiences the tragic music-focused ending they expect, and it avoids any legal risks for the studio and the Jackson estate. And very important, it does not hurt the Michael Jackson brand. Before we look at the psychological route and option 3, which I think is exactly what the studio will do, if you enjoy these behind-the-scenes movie breakdowns, it would mean the world to me if you hit subscribe. I'm really trying to hit my first 1,000 subscribers, and every single one of you counts. Now let's move on to option 2. In this option, they focus on the psychological trauma. Instead of ignoring the controversy, they frame his later years entirely through the trauma he suffered from his father, Joe Jackson. The sequel would show Michael desperately trying to reclaim the stolen childhood from his father by building Neverland, wanting to just play and be a kid again. From a storytelling perspective, this connects perfectly to the themes of the first movie. It paints his desire to be around children not as something sinister, but as a sad coping mechanism that the public and the media completely misunderstand. The movie would end with him passing away, feeling entirely misunderstood by the world. But the most realistic option, in my opinion, is option 3, which I think is exactly what they will do when a sequel gets greenlit. They won't ignore the controversy, but they will completely omit the actual accusers. Remember that legal settlement from the beginning? The studio legally cannot show the family of Jordan Chandler on screen, so they have to pivot. Instead of focusing on the specifics of the allegations, the sequel will focus entirely on the media frenzy. By shifting the villain of the movie from the accusers to the tabloids and the paparazzi, the filmmakers can use all that intense deleted footage Antoine Fuqua already shot. With this option, they can portray Michael entirely as a victim of a sensationalist media witch hunt. It allows them to cover the 1990s to 2000 and even clear his name, all while obeying the legal boundaries of the settlement. This approach would be the perfect balance between mentioning the controversies but also rehabilitating MJ to a certain degree, which is obviously in the interest of the Jackson estate, who were involved in the process of making the first film and will also be in making the second movie. Option 3 is the perfect way for the Jackson estate and also obviously Lionsgate to rehabilitate MJ and make a ton of money. If they make a sequel, it's either way going to be an incredibly tough needle to thread. But honestly, the movie we just got is already splitting audience and critics right down in the middle. I just did a full review explaining why the first Michael feels like a 1 out of 5 and a 4.5 out of 5 at the same time. It's a really interesting debate, so click on the video right here if you're interested and write down in the comments over there how much you rated the movie.